Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Pisces Twin podcast.
Hello.
I'm here with Ciara, of course.
Ayo.
I'm Amy, in case you've never listened to me before. Today we're going to talk about a bunch of different topics. Many of them, actually all of them, were requested. And then we're going to throw in one, which we're going to start off with, that we feel really, truly needs to be addressed here, especially in the online community. So we're just going to jump into it here. What we're going to talk about is pick a card readings and how they work. Because clearly, from some of the comments we've seen, on all channels, not just, like
personal ones.
Yes. Clearly people are not understanding how they work and what they are. So let's just put it for you straight here. Pick a card readings are general readings. That means they are read for the collective consciousness.
And what that also means is, one, that means that not every single message in a pick a card is going to resonate for you personally, and that includes specific cards that are pulled. So don't get hung up if one specific card doesn't resonate for you personally, but also that also goes for the fact that specifically, let's say for like a love reading, and for any reading really, it's literally, because of the nature of how pick a cards work, being general readings, it is impossible to hit every single demographic in a specific message. So what you really have to do, again, when you're watching a pick a card, is apply it to how you personally live your life and how it resonates for you. So again, whether or not whatever reader is doing the reading specifies something that is specific to you that you identify as, it shouldn't matter. You should apply it to however it resonates for you and makes sense. That's part of why you have to connect to your intuition to even choose a pile, because that's the first step to engaging with your own guides to help channel the message through that particular pile, and again, how it applies to you personally. I also would say, because they're general readings, don't put so much stock into necessarily the accuracy or the timing of certain things, because again, it just depends on each individual person. Just because one tarot reading in a pick a card says something's going to happen for you in 3 months, well, that might not be the case, because that message might not apply to you. It might take you longer, or it might take you shorter time. But again, maybe just think about the numerology and the energy of 3 and what the significance of that is to you personally.
And learn about the difference between divine masculine and divine feminine, please. Okay? Every single being on this planet has a divine masculine and divine feminine in them. Okay? If you don't have both, you're out of whack. Okay? That means you need to balance them both. All right. One might be more strong than the other at a particular moment in time.
Always.
But you have to have both in order to be a functioning person.
It's the same with shadow work. You have to have the shadow in order to have the light, and you have to have the light in order to have the shadow. They both go hand in hand. That's just, I think a lot of people, if you're going to start down this path of spirituality or whatever practice it is you want to, you really need to start by observing nature. First and foremost, because once you watch nature, you start engaging more with learning about animals and the creatures that, other creatures besides humanity that inhabit this earth. You start to realize the balance that is so important within nature and within ourselves. Because again, we are part of that balance. And if you think humans are somehow superior or above that balance, then you're surely mistaken.
Yeah. And that takes, the comments, the rude, narcissistic people out there making these stupid, ignorant comments. I seriously suggest you not watch pick a card readings and go seek therapy. Because if you're going to talk like that to people, to perfect strangers that you don't even know, you have issues which you need to resolve elsewhere. So please stop watching pick a cards and go get help. Thank you. Okay? All right. So, moving right along, let's get into the spirituality topic. Okay? because this is something that we wanted to address, because we've talked to several different people, and this is kind of a topic that's been brought up multiple times, and people are
starting to...
It's annoying.
Yeah.
Okay? That there's this trend right now that's going on where people literally are claiming they're spiritual people, or they follow spirituality,
or that they're witches.
Because they think it's, and I quote, cool.
Or trendy.
Oh my God! You're missing the point. You're missing the point. Ay. Okay. All right. There are many, many, many forms of spirituality out there. Okay? You pick the one that you groove with, but I highly recommend that you don't follow it because it's cool. Okay? If you're not...
Again, if it doesn't resonate, don't do it.
Yeah, that's so stupid. I mean, what? I don't understand.
You're wasting your time.
It's like, I think it's embarrassing. It's like, what is wrong with people? I don't understand. They want to fit in so bad, but that's not the way you do it, honey. You know,
the hive mind
be authentic, for Christ's sake.
Is getting weeded out as it is. So it feels like, again, a lot of people are holding on to that sort of hive mind. I have to do what's trendy. I have to do what's popular. They're starting to become a dying breed, I feel like, in some ways.
Yes.
Because it's like they're desperate to hold on to that, even though there's a total major shift in how things are. Even, again, it's like, goes back to that argument about, like, we're done with the age of Pisces and now we're in the age of Aquarius, which is all about individuality and, you know, being authentic.
Exactly. And it seriously disturbs me. It like makes me want to friggin' cry. It's like, I've seen people make some really ludicrous comments about, oh, well, you're not a witch if you don't do this, and you're not a witch if you, and it's like, how old are you, honey? You know, how old are you? Do you even, and it cracks me up. It's like, I'll mention deities and I'll say, oh, Carnunos, oh, Freyr, or, you know, Danu, or whatever. And people are like, huh? Who's that? It's like, and wait, you say you're a witch and you don't know what that is? Okay, you're clearly one of the people following it because you think it, you know, being a witch is burning sage and wearing black. Okay, that's not what it is. Please learn. If you want to do it, that's fine, but please learn the history behind it and what it is. There's a reason why it's called the old religion, because that's what it is. You know, there's eclectic witches, there's green witches, there's hedge witches. There are
it's like sea witches, even. It's
there's all different kinds.
Eclectic.
Fey witch, which definitely I resonate with hardcore. There's different, you know, sects and groups of it. Another thing, witches do not worship Satan. Okay, I mean, there is literally, like that line from freaking Practical Magic, there is no devil in the craft. All right. So people are walking around saying, oh, Satan, oh, Lucifer. It's like, you're a Satanist.
That's why I personally...
not a witch.
could not stand the remake of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Because it's just like, why? It's just,
if you watch it from a point of sense of humor where it's just like, this is
funny.
It's a joke, then it's funny. But that is not what witches are. Okay? I'm sorry.
It's kind of insulting.
No. Yeah, it's very insulting. It's derogatory beyond belief. Okay? It's just wrong. Please, if you want to pursue this and you want to learn about it, you're welcome to do that. I mean, I'm very open-minded and accepting, and I totally will help and point people in the right direction. But, you know, you need to learn about what is the basis of it. Where does it come from? And here's a little fun fact. If you read, speaking of religion, a hidden religious text, which many religions out there exclude and refuse to add into the Bible, and that is the Book of Enoch. I think there's only 2 sects of Christianity that even accept it as being legit.
I think actually there's just like one that's like Christianity, and then one is like is like a Jewish practice.
I mean, if you want to read something really cool and really trippy, especially if you're a starseed person, I highly recommend you look into that, start going through the internet, follow down the rabbit hole, swallow the blue pill or whatever the hell it is, red pill, blue pill, whatever, and start learning about that. Because literally in the Book of Enoch, it talks about that there was angels. Okay, they call them angels, but I call them extraterrestrial beings, celestial beings, if you will, okay, that came here and they taught and they literally mated, had sex, had children with earth women, okay? And they taught the people of this planet about calendars, the heavenly bodies,
Beauty,
how, like
weapons.
weaponry. They taught them magic. Yeah, magic, people, magic. Okay. So, yeah, the original witches were taught by these celestial beings, if you will. So, it's some really cool stuff to read. I mean, it enthralls me. I'm just like so fascinated.
And
with
part
it.
of the Book of Enoch texts were actually found with the Dead Sea Scrolls. So
Yeah.
if you know anything about the Dead Sea Scrolls, but you don't know about the Book of Enoch, that should just give you a little bit of a hint about like how unique, this particular text is to be found along with the Book of the Dead Sea Scrolls.
So, yeah, like the original witches basically they're women. Okay. They're women. I think it's kind of hot. Going for that alien action. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hell yes. Juicy, juicy goodness. Okay. Anyhow, so what I'm basically summing up here is please learn about the basis. So somebody asked and they posed the question to us, what is your experience with witchcraft and rituals? Well, like I said, I've been fascinated with this my entire life, and I knew from the get-go, text message coming in, that this is just who I have been since the moment I got onto this rock in this lifetime, that is what I was all about. I've been reading up on it, practicing it. There were times where I wasn't, I kind of drifted off the path, because I was involved with other heavy shit going on in my life. But basically my whole entire life, I've, delved into this, read about it, studied it. I've done plenty of rituals. I do personal rituals, all the time. I even tie that in with meditation because somebody else was asking about what is my experience with meditation, so that ties into it as well. I get into a deep meditative state usually, when I'm doing like stuff on my own solo. I've done rituals with other people as well. I mean, if you listen to our other podcast, we actually, danced around the maypole with a bunch of witches, a couple hundred of them, and I've been to, group, things, coven things and stuff like that. I've done all kinds of stuff. But personally, the way that I like to practice it most of the time is just on my own solo, or I will do it with Ciara. I know that certain forms of magic work really well for me. What is your personal preference on that?
Definitely working with the moon phases because I'm pretty sensitive to the moon phases. I've noticed, and I've become even more, paying even more attention to it recently.
Yes.
And I mean, since I was little, especially like the fae thing, that was something I was always automatically attracted to. So it's like that energy is something I think I can tap into most of the time. Divination again is my favorite way of really engaging with that.
Yes.
As well as working with specific crystals. Again, the moon phases are a big one for me, and I typically will do stuff involving writing out intentions and then burning them. I have done a little bit of candle work. Candle work is something that I do enjoy, and we'll be working with more. The next thing on my that I would like to start practicing more is scrying, because I think it would be just a good practice for me personally. I know it's a good practice for other people as well, especially when it comes to getting more into that meditative state. So I have done meditation, and I have had some interesting experiences with meditation.
So have I. Holy shit.
But it's something I'm still working on keeping consistent for me personally.
Yeah. Also, I mentioned this in my story, and I'm so bummed because I forgot to mention it in the other podcast, but it ties into this. When I was in the first grade, my teacher, I'm not going to say her name, but she had a Rolls Royce, okay, that she drove to school. No joke. Her husband was very wealthy. And she was a very feisty woman, okay? And she used to wear these shoes that had it was hilarious, you guys, because on her license plate, she had a personalized license plate, and it said witch. And she wore these little shoes, these like slipper shoes that you get them in the Middle East. Okay. I don't know. I can't remember what her husband did because I think she said it once before, but hey, that was like first grade. So I don't remember shit about that, but I just knew that they had a lot of money, and she'd wear those little slippers that you can buy. Like I used to call them genie shoes or Aladdin shoes. They're like little slippers with the little curly toe that comes up. She literally wore those to class. But anyway, she used to brag about how she was a witch all the time. But I still remember the first day I came into class, she took one look at me and she's like, "Oh, hello, little witch." And that was like my nickname from then on out. She called me Witch 2 or Little Witch. She would write it on my papers and everything. She just like kind of took me under her wing sort of thing. And she was a very stern, hardcore woman, but that she just would like kind of baby me that way. And she would call me her little witch or, Witch 2. And it's kind of funny because the rest of the administration at the school and stuff, that's like, they knew that that's what she called me. So that kind of stuck. So that was, like first, like somebody like actually noticing it. Okay. And it was kind of funny. It's like when you just like know people from your past life or whatever, and you kind of just like lock eyes with them and you're like, yeah, what's up? And I've talked about this in our other podcasts where I've come across people where I've just like, I know you because I can feel their energy that we have connected before on a different plane or a different lifetime. And that's how I felt about her. And she used to tease the hell out of me too, but she was super cool. And yeah, that was like a first, like, kind of introduction to that. Of course, I was raised in a Catholic family, all right? And my mother was raised Baptist, so, but it's like, you kind of have to hide yourself when you're in a surrounding like that, okay? And I have never met so many oppressed people as some of the people that went to Catholic school. Holy shit balls. They've got issues up the wazoo about sometimes like opening up and letting their authenticity fly until they get away from that. And then it's like, they become this totally different person. But I had to like I had to dim my light a lot growing up. Well, over the past like 3 years, I basically have started to come out of my shell with that and was like, fuck it. And I totally had, through meditation, a hardcore Kundalini awakening, which I've mentioned before. And that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I was no more going to fucking dim my light for any asshole ever again. I'm like, no, I'm standing firm in who I am. And if you don't like me, piss off. I don't give a shit. I'm going to let my freak flag fly. I'm going to be who I am. I'm not going to hide what I'm into or what I like anymore or what I think is hot. I'm going to talk the way I want to talk. I'm going to do what I like to do. And if you don't like it, tough shit for you, I guess. Hey, that rhymed.
Yeah, it did rhyme. It's like if you want to be respected for the things that you enjoy and that you like, then you have to respect other people's choice of how
Why
to be.
Is it so fucking hard for some people?
It is.
It sucks so hard. This is why I feel like fuck this rock sometimes, and I'm like, get me off this planet, take me home. Like I feel like Aurora. It's like I hear her voice, singing "Take Me Home,"
I love
just
her
like,
music.
oh my god, it's just like every time I hear her singing that, I get like chills up my spine, and I'm like, oh my god, she is like singing to my friggin' soul. She gets it.
Yeah, completely. It was also interesting with Melanie Martinez and her film with some of the subjects that popped up in that. Yeah,
she was totally referencing Lilith and starseeds. And
it was pretty trippy. When I first watched that, I was just like, she is starseed. She is a Scorpio rising, so that might be a part of it.
She's a trooper. I'm an Aquarius rising, which is why I'm so goddamn mouthy. All right. But my progressed energy Okay, and this is another fun thing because I'm still totally learning about astrology.
Same.
Okay, it takes a long time. I have so much freaking love and respect for the people who really know their shit and spend years and decades studying this, because literally that is one of the things that they talk about in the Book of Enoch as well, you guys. Okay, did you know that by looking at your natal chart, okay, and looking at progressions, you can even figure out when you're going to die. Okay, it's insanely intense. It's super awesome, and it's like easy to see when you visit a good astrologer, okay, who knows their shit. They can literally tell you major events. They can look at your past and say, oh, during this year, did this happen to you? This, here? Or they can look at your chart and say, oh, you had a birth of a child during this. And, oh, there was a major shift in your career during this time. And it's like, they're so fucking accurate.
Yeah, so, I think there's definitely something to that, because in my recent experience, when it comes to, there's kind of a pattern to how a lot of people pass away. What I've noticed
Wait, did they even know what you do?
Probably not.
Tell them! It's so fucking gnarly, you guys. I love it.
So I have, in addition to working on, my YouTube and art, I have a little part-time job where I work as a receptionist at a funeral home. So, in my experience so far, dealing with this sort of subject matter, and kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just my brain, kind of my artist brain, kind of looking for patterns or whatnot, however you want to put it. And what I've kind of noticed is that a lot of people, minus if, something tragic happens, but even in that case, it's like, it's either a lot of people pass away around the same age in like a chunk, or they literally pass away like in their same birth month, or the month after, or the month before. It's very interesting how it's like, I swear, it's like, I can't even count how many times I've seen it. And it's like literally the same month, right before their birthday, right after their birthday is when they've passed. It's just very,
and you write the obituaries, so you know all the dirt on everybody.
Yeah. A bit.
Yeah, so it's really fascinating stuff. I highly recommend you guys start looking into that and look at your progress chart. So I hadn't looked at mine in a while, and when I looked at it, it makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. With this year, what happened is I had my sun shift into Aries.
Same.
Okay, which is some fiery ass fucking
Actually,
shit.
I have a lot of things in Aries right now.
But I have a butt ton of shit in Gemini as well. Okay, so maybe that's why I'm feeling this Gemini action so hard. I mean, I've dated Geminis in the past, which I'm not gonna lie, I fucking loved them. I thought that they were fun, maybe because they're mutable energy as well. It's kind of funny because I was around quite a few mutable people and had very interesting experiences with each and every one of them. But and actually, it's kind of funny because they're the ones like I dated that I don't hate. Like right now, like if I saw them walking down the street or something, I would not hate on them at all. I'd probably hug them or something, because even though like I'm not with them or anything, it's like we always parted amicably, it's like
mutually.
Yeah, it was, I mean, even when like I hadn't talked to them in a long time and they were moving away to a different place, they called me on the phone to say bye and stuff and talk to me. So that's kind of trippy. So yeah, it was really freaking trippy because I have like a couple things in, Gemini right now, which is like, what? And it's kind of funny because the two of the planets, they were not in the same house together at all. They were kind of spaced apart, and now they're right next to each other. They're, conjunct? Is that what it is? So yeah, it's like, it's fascinating stuff to learn about that. And I think that, if you're going to be delving into witchcraft and learning about that, astrology is a really good thing to learn. And, like Ciara said, moon phases, because they all play in together. Because you literally perform magic rituals in certain signs, are better than others for certain things. And then like zodiac signs, and then like when the moon is in Taurus, or like Taurus, like moon in Taurus is always good for like material wealth, love, anything to do with like earning income, things like that, pulling things towards you, prosperity, abundance, wealth.
And an easy way to think about it with the moon phases and the signs, if you know a little bit about tarot and like the minor arcanas, it's like you have the pentacles that represent earth, you have the wands that represent fire, cups are water, and, you know, swords are air. If you think about sort of the things that are represented by those, like again, pentacles are material, they're the money, it's your health, it's your body, and that's the earth signs. It kind of reflects that when you're working with the moon for magic. It's like usually, you know, if a moon is in an earth sign, it's going to be better for doing something with money or doing something with the body. Although Taurus is also another good one for love, because Taurus is just a sensual sign that's ruled by Venus.
Mm-hmm. And they're very sensual people. I totally love Tauruses. I get along with them really well, like males and females. I think that Taurus energy is just really cool. I like it. It jives with me. So what was I going to say? Oh my God, I had a really good point to make. Damn it, I hate it when that freaking happens. What were we saying? We were talking about the moon
cycles.
Oh, crap. It was so good what I was going to say. I should have freaking wrote it down. Crap. Well, when you're also, I have to say this. I like to use tarot and stuff like to get into like a shift, to shift my consciousness,
work on and like kind of wake up your intuition.
Yeah, I'll do that. Like when I'm going to do a ritual, sometimes I will pull tarot. And I have to mention this when it comes to tarot. This is going back to that rude comment crap and people being rude, leaving stupid comments like that are completely ignorant. It's like sometimes people just, I think, leave comments just to do it, just to be an asshole. Just don't. Please, okay? It's just, I see it, and I know other freaking people out there, no matter what kind of YouTube channel they have, there are just trolls that act like complete douchebags. You know, I pity those people because they so desperately want to be noticed and have attention that they'll do anything to do it, even be a fucking prick and put bad karma on their head. It's like, you know, whatever. But tarot can be read, thank you, many different ways. Okay?
You don't have to just read it in the reverse. You don't even have to read reversals. Or
yeah, it's like if you really know about tarot, every friggin' human emotion is represented in the tarot cards. Upright. You don't need to do reversals unless you like to do reversals. Some people totally do, and they're fine with it. It's like, who gives a fuck? Really? It's like, what works for you is what works for you. Accept and respect other people's points of view. Okay?
Because not everybody's
You're not a special motherfucking snowflake. All right? We're all different, yes. But we all have to freaking live and survive together here on this planet as one. And the more dicky you act, the more shittier you make it for everybody. And you also, it's like you're making yourself look like a complete and utter fool. All right? You look like a mental case. Just don't, please. I beg people not to do this. Think before you act.
Like for me personally, when it comes to me reading the cards, and I kind of treat it a little bit differently, matter if I'm reading oracle cards or I'm reading tarot cards. A lot of time with oracle cards, if they do have reverse meanings, I will consider those if I feel it's necessary for that particular deck or I like it.
It's called intuition. Look
and
into it.
For tarot, especially for tarot, it's like most of the time I will never read reversals unless for some reason a particular tarot card just screams out, like if it pops out reverse and it screams out like this is the meaning, then I'm gonna do that meaning because that is what is being told to me from the cards, from the guides, whatever you want to fucking call it, or my intuition. It's like it all is the same thing. It's all come from the same place. That is the only time I would read reversals because again, it's like the tarot naturally, and some tarot decks, if you pay a lot of attention and you start researching and exploring it more, a lot of tarot decks don't even include reversals in their booklets.
They do not.
My first tarot deck that I used and I got when I was really young did not ever do reversals. So I never...
That's how she learned. So respect it, people. Respect it. Respect one another. Do I have to come out there and bitch slap all these bad people? I mean, seriously, I will come for you. I am the karma bringer, bitch. Okay? If I'm sorry if I'm being a really bitchy to my normal, sweet cool, wonderful, beautiful, awesome ass people out there. If I sound a little bitchy, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm riding that Kali wave right now. And it's like, I'm just incensed right now, like hardcore with some of the dumb shit I've seen lately. And I'm telling you, please, you guys, everybody be careful driving right now.
Oh my God.
Because there are some complete
I still can't
utter
believe that.
psychos on the road right now. It's some scary shit because it's that time of year.
That time of year.
You know, it's like I'm just like I'm just in a mood, okay, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm not perfect fucking
you're not meant to
Barbie
be a perfect,
all the damn
happy,
time. Sorry.
love and light all the time kind of person.
Yeah,
That's
get
just
over
impossible.
that shit.
Again, it's all about balance. You have to have the ugly with the pretty because that's just how you appreciate the pretty.
Like I said, I think there are some groups of people, and I believe it is in India, definitely. I know, I can't remember what specific, I don't want to say it's something that I'm not sure, but I can't remember. It's a religious group. Okay. I can't remember exactly which one. Sorry guys, brain fart. But they literally teach that there's no such thing as white or black. Like especially when it comes to energies or magic, everything is gray.
Because it is.
Because we
you dictate and you choose how you're going to use it.
Yeah. And I mean, I'd say ask Ciara and tell me if I'm wrong when I say this. I'd say like 98% of the time I'm in a fucking chill ass good mood.
Yeah, she is.
But this past week, it's just starting to build. And I'm just like gritting my teeth. And normally shit does not freaking get to me. But for some reason, I'm just like, I don't know if it's the moon.
I swear.
She pointed out. She thinks it's the moon in Gemini coming up.
Because especially for her. I mean, because what I noticed.
And I have Saturn in Gemini, you guys.
Is because, again, I've paid more attention to how the moon phases affect me and how my mood changes with it and my own cycles. And just last night, it's like I randomly was having a weird kind of mood and feeling that pops up every month. And I was like, oh, wait. The full moon is coming up. No wonder that's happening. So it's like I pay attention to that now. I've picked up on that and I've learned this. And honestly, it kind of goes back into I don't know, I don't want to call it a stereotype, but like the urban legend about like, oh, when the full moon's out, the crazies come out or something. So it's like, because again, if you think about it, the moon, whatever it is, however it got there so perfectly in our fucking orbit to control everything.
You mean the Death Star.
And create the perfect balance for life. Again, that's another thing. If you want to, just a mind fuck, just read about and learn about the moon and just how it works because it's just fucking weird. It doesn't make any sense.
Ask an astronaut. They'll tell you it's fucking weird for sure. It makes a freaking hollow bell sound when it's struck. And there's nothing else that does that. Okay?
There's literally no other moon in our solar system that we have studied is even remotely like our own.
No.
But the point is that I'm trying to get at is that, the moon, of course, affects the tides of the ocean when it's full or when it's not. And what is humans made up of mostly? Water. So it's like, if you don't think the moon doesn't affect you, think again because you're wrong.
I'm going to tie that into another type of magic. Speaking of fluids is, yes, blood magic. Yes, I have done blood magic. Yeah.
Oh, I've done it a little bit now too.
Yeah. That's some serious potent stuff, but do not even attempt to try it unless you actually study it for a while and learn what it is.
Don't do the wrong kind of spell work with it or you're gonna
you're fucked if you do that.
Regret it majorly.
Because it works. All right? It works.
A type of magic that I would really encourage people not to really mess with and do is love spells.
Don't.
Specifically love spells where you're trying to affect another person's will. That's like a number one huge no-no when it comes to magic is that you're not imposing your will on anybody else. When you do magic, you're working magic on yourself. Yeah. And attracting things or repelling things for yourself. You're never ever, because it's your will. So of course you can choose, again, it's kind of like consent. You can choose what you're going to do with your own energy and for yourself, but you never want to project and do that on somebody else.
See, even like if somebody like requests a spell and stuff, it's like I
would not do it.
I won't.
I straight up would never do it.
There are people who do it.
Reading the tarot cards, that's different. Again, it's like I still want, if it's a personal reading, I still want consent from the person to do that because that's why they're requesting it. But it's a little bit different because there's kind of, I feel like, a buffer between that, because it's not like you're trying to affect anybody's will. You're just reading the energy.
Yeah,
it's not like you're trying to change anything for that person, because guess what? You can't change anything. Only you can change the stuff that you hear in, like, if you get the reading and it's like saying, hey, you need to stop procrastinating, guess what? Just because you hear that in a reading doesn't mean it's going to magically happen for you unless you put in the work to actually stop the actual procrastinating. Yeah. It's just the potential. That's how I always view it.
Another type of magic, of course, is everyone's favorite topic,
the
sex magic. Okay. All right, that's another one I think that you should be very, very careful with.
Just sex in general, you should just be
very
careful in all regards. But especially, again, a lot of people think about just like the STD things, but it's like you got to think about the energy that you're exchanging with another person. That's why, that's probably part of why things are a little bit
chaotic.
Yeah, because it's like, it kind of started with the millennial group of just kind of like quick, one night stands all the time, that kind of speed date. I'm not even dating, just like
speed dating.
It's not even speed dating. It's just like speed.
Virgin.
What I really want to say is just, I'm just gonna say it. Speed fucking is just what it seems like to me. Okay, and it's like you don't even realize what you're getting yourself into energetically, because every time you're doing that, you're energetically connecting with another person and taking on their baggage.
Yes.
And they're taking on your baggage. Yep. And that's not nice.
Yep.
Especially since so many people don't understand how to cleanse themselves and protect their aura and their energy. It's like...
And they don't even know what a freaking deity is. So, I mean, seriously, I'm like disturbed by that. Like, it's okay if you're just getting into it and you actually want to learn. It's like, that's fucking awesome. Totally go. I highly recommend you do learn about it. But the ones out there that are like sneering at them, because I've literally seen a couple tarot readers in the past,
oh my god,
sneering at like whatever, like they literally have made comments like that about deities. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot.
It's like, why are you using these particular cards that have to deal with deities if you're not going to respect them? Like let me give you an example. I have the God and Titans deck, and I have the Goddess and Sirens deck. In the Gods and Titans deck, there is a specific god that if you read the book and you learn about him, you're not actually supposed to say his name out loud.
It's kind of like Voldemort.
Because it's disrespectful for that specific deity. And, when I read that, I was like, I'm definitely not going to do that, because that's just, it's fucked up. Again, just don't do it. It's rude. And that goes into one of my points when it comes to deities. Even if you are going to kind of dive into working with specific deities, don't just be like, oh, I like this one, give me what I want.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what you do.
No.
Okay. For me personally, I have not, let's just say I'm taking my time when it comes to finding specific deities that resonate with me.
Find you.
Exactly. Because that's what I'm looking for. I'm wanting the ones that resonate and want to work with me to come to me. And I have, a few that are starting to come out and let themselves be known, because they keep appearing.
Yeah.
And it's like their energy is resonating with me. So I'm like, okay, then it's time for me to start learning more about them, to understand what they're about, how to respect them. Because again, it's mutual respect. You don't, this is something also, I love using this analogy for a completely different situation, but it's like, you don't go into like a lawyer's office and demand their services for free. Okay?
Yeah.
Everything, I'm going to throw some anime in here. It's the law of equivalent exchange. Alchemy.
Well, that's what
Learn
it is. Dude, seriously. When it comes to the deity thing too, it's like, let them pick you. Okay? And how do you do that? You just start.
Open up.
Just open up and study it. And I have, my female deities, like like I said earlier, Kali is definitely one who has pick the hell out of me. Ouch.
And it's really interesting because it's like, even before she was even remotely looking into Kali, even thinking about it, we were in a shop.
Oh yeah.
With somebody
God.
is very intuitive.
You're psychic.
They went up to her and were like, oh, you have like so much Kali energy about you, or literally said something like that. And I'm telling you, her reaction was just like, what? Because Again, she didn't know too much about Kali. I knew a little bit just from osmosis. You know, that
I knew who Kali was, but it's like I didn't delve into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, and again, a lot
her.
of people, when they find out or they first hear about Kali, they think it's negative. It's something like that. But really, it's like she's a very misunderstood deity, and she's actually very, very
she's like
Archangel
Michael,
and helpful. Because
she's like Michael.
She's a strong motherly energy, and she's like no bullshit motherly energy. So it's like, if you want to be babied, she's not gonna baby you.
Yeah, she'll throw her fucking shoe at you. Okay, that's what kind of energy she's like. You be bad, oh, you better fucking run, bitch, because I'm gonna toss my.
And if anybody's bad to you, they better watch out.
She's like, she's playing with scissors.
I am playing with scissors.
Oh my god. So yeah, and it's kind of funny because we're in the same exact shop. What, like how many weeks ago? Like 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
And I'm just standing there and we're just checking out. We're minding our own business. And this guy came up and he's like, oh my God, I love your energy. It's so fucking amazing. And he's like totally going off about my energy and saying it's fucking fabulous. And then when he turned to Ciara.
Yeah, he was like, oh, yours is good too. Thanks for the afterthought. I'm so happy.
But he was like gushing over me. And it was like, oh my God.
A lot of, especially like masculine people have that reaction to her energy.
They do. They either fucking love me or they fucking hate me.
Yeah.
Like seriously, when I come across guys, it's like they like are like super cool and super sweet and super like into my vibe, or they want to fucking kill me. And literally, I'm just going to say it, and this is going to sound creepy to some people probably, but and I'm sure there's other people who have had confrontations in their lifetime, but I have literally only been in fist fights with males. I have never fucking been in a fist fight with a female.
You know what?
Females don't fuck with me. Okay? They just don't. Because I don't want to fuck with them. It's like, I love my fucking fellow sisters out there. It's like, I don't get fucking violent people at all. Really, honestly, at my core, I'm like a fucking peaceful ass person. I really am. I'm feisty and fiery, but only when provoked. Okay? And it's like,
you know what? I've only ever been in, and it wasn't even really a fight. It was
she
me
beat the shit out of
me beating
somebody.
the shit out of a boy because he was being a major asshole. I don't even completely remember what happened, but I just remember he was a major asshole, and I was friends with his sister, and
he was being mean to the sister.
He was being mean to his sister. So I just like prick. Me being me. I'm extremely loyal. It's like, if I'm gonna be somebody's friend, or whatever, it's like I'm gonna be fiercely loyal, and so I kicked his ass. I still have a vague memory of being on top of him and just fucking punching the shit out of his face.
And you want to know what's funny?
I know that sounds crazy, but whatever.
I witnessed this, and I was actually in the house with this kid's mother, with some other people as well. And she got this shit-eating grin on her face, and I'm like, what? She's like, look out the window. And I see Ciara is like wailing on this kid. And I'm like, oh my God. And I start freaking out, and I was going to run out there to stop her. And she grabbed me by the arm. She's like, no, let her do it. And I was like, what? You know, because this is her kid. And she wants to see her kid get pounded by Ciara.
By a girl.
Because I think the situation within that family dynamic, it's like the father was a complete and utter abusive fucking prick, and he was also a sexist asshole. So he was basically teaching his son to be a fucking fuckhead like that too. To totally disrespect women, and that women were inferior to men and all that kind of shit. So she was getting off on watching, Ciara kick the crap out of this kid. So that being said, I have to give a shout out to all the men out there who aren't complete dickbags, who recognize the divinity in a woman, and, to all the women out there who recognize the divinity in a good man. I give so much props and so much love to all of you for freaking doing that. It's like, I really have seen, and I've been lucky enough to come in contact with people lately, especially men who are just beautiful. Like, you guys are freaking have amazing souls going on in there. And it makes me feel good to know that, that there's some decent guys out there. It makes me happy to know that they don't, they literally look at a woman as that she is a goddess. It's like, thank you for that. I appreciate it so friggin' much, my God, because let me tell ya, I've experienced the opposite, like several times in my life. Like I said, I've been in fist fights with dudes who thought that they can lay their fucking hands on me without permission and whatnot, and ended up cleaning their clock. Basically, because you don't touch me unless I give you permission, and I want you to touch me. I am not your property. I am not a plaything for you to stick your dick in. I am a freaking soul, you know. I'm a fucking woman, all right? And you show me respect and I show you respect. It's that simple, okay? It's like, I don't get these guys. I don't understand it. It's scary. Just like I don't understand women who feel the need to freaking lash out at every fucking person who comes across their path and, you know, abuse men. It's like, I don't get that. It's like, whatever. Good luck to you in the next life. Have fun. So, that being said, there was the question was posed to us about what is our opinion on the twin flame soulmate labeling crap out there. What are our opinions and thoughts on that?
So let me just start off by saying this. The term twin flame, as it's used, if you actually do your research to find out where exactly that term came to be, it came from a cult. Nothing good comes out of cults.
Nope.
All right? Have we not learned this? Are we not, learning how not to sip the Kool-Aid here? So, personally, and it's like they took a concept that really at its core is just talking about divine counterparts.
Yes.
And kind of making it trendy.
Labeling it. Turning it into a commercial thing.
It's like
disgusting.
It's like, and again, it goes back to a concept. It actually goes back to mythology, what this is trying to represent.
See, and if you study witchcraft, it teaches you about this.
Because it's the goddess and the god, and that's divine
union.
Yeah. And also, if you go into, like, one of my favorite stories when I learned about it, because it was just, like, so, appealing to the Pisces romanticism here, was the story goes that when humanity was created by the gods or whatnot, it's like they started off with 2 heads, 4 arms, and 4 legs. Zeus saw this and freaked the fuck out because he was concerned about the power these beings would have. And so the story goes that he separated these beings so that they were 2 separate, but part of the same whole.
Yes.
So it's like the puzzle pieces that fit together. And this is where this concept it comes from.
Yeah.
This is what the twin flame or the soulmate thing is trying to get at. But the problem is you get these
Just say it, let it fly.
You get these assholes who try to put labels on it to try to, again, put it into this lemming, follow the sheep herd kind of mentality. And people just get so obsessed with it and they get worried about it because it's like, oh my God, is this person my twin flame? Is this person my soulmate? It's like, who gives a fuck? Do you like them? Do they resonate with you? Do your energies vibe? Do you find them attractive?
Yeah.
That's what should fucking matter. Do they treat you well? It's like, who gives a fuck if they're a soulmate or twin flame? You're going to have multiple, probably for most of us, multiple of those in your lifetime. So it's like, stop worrying about so much and just enjoy the ride.
Exactly. And that also the karmic relationship.
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
Now, okay.
This
is a little bit more like
because it's a lesson.
Yeah, and
you're learning a lesson.
And my opinion on karmic stuff is you can have a soulmate who is karmic. Okay, because you continually come together over and over throughout multiple lifetimes, because you learn from each other. You're learning lessons from one another,
and
it's not just romantic relationships.
No, again, soulmates and twin flames, it's not just romantic relationships, but everybody just focus on the romantic aspect because, again, a lot of people are concerned about that. They're looking for that. And, it's
Ciara
understandable.
and I are freaking, could be considered,
I don't know, twin flame, soulmate, one of those things.
Yeah, we're like, we've been around each other. We're probably karmic as hell, too. Because, we've been around. It's clear. more than once.
So
I feel
on
that way about Soren as well.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I do agree with that. And so another point that I, in my opinion, when it comes to sort of karmic, as well as going into the twin flame or the soulmate, but more so with the karmic, it's like you are attracted to a karmic person because they represent, and this is it really goes for anything, they represent some aspect in you that you're either lacking or that you need to work on more. And so that's why you keep going to this person. It's kind of like why I feel like some people, it's like they repeatedly get into these relationships where they end up in the same situation, whether it's toxic or not.
And then they're not paying attention.
And then they stop and they're like, why do I keep getting into these relationships? Well, it's because you're not learning the lesson. There's something that you're not working on in yourself. And so you're trying to project, or you have another person try to fix it for you. Along those lines.
Exactly. And I think that some people just are a bit masochistic when it comes to that as well.
Completely. And not in the good way.
It's like, or how about people who keep going back to the same person over and
over again, expecting like a different result.
What the fuck? That is the definition of insanity, yo. Okay?
It's like
doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. Okay?
And then that's where
that's crazy. All right.
And that's where the danger of like really buying into the label of twin flame or soulmate comes in, because it's like you think you get in a relationship with your soulmate or your twin flame, and then you break up, but then you keep going back to them because you're relying, but they're my twin flame, so I have to go back to them because that's what we're meant to be together. It's like, no, it's like, stop torturing yourself, move on, and there's plenty of other people out there that you can resonate with and get in a relationship with, friend-wise or platonic or romantic wise. It's
sometimes in rare cases though, people will come together and then like time period, like, they'll break up or whatever, and then big chunks of time will go past, and then they go off and have relationships with other people, and then they come back together and they join, and then it stays.
And the reason for that,
learned their lessons.
Yeah, they learn their lessons.
So everybody has a different destiny, shall I say, with what's supposed to go down. And I really feel that some people are just destined for certain,
to meet certain people along their path.
And like for instance, the energy that I'm working right now in my lifetime with my life path and stuff, it is some heavy duty shit. It's all about leadership,
partnership,
and it's all about, and no matter where I've been and no matter who I've talked to, no matter what I've read or what I've studied, it talks about for my life, okay, I really come into my own and am known when I'm older, okay, as I age. It's better for me in this lifetime as I get older. And I read that I've been told that by certain, people, which is whatever. I've been told that multiple times by several different people, and I've read it multiple times over and over. So it keeps coming up. That is called a synchronicity. Okay. And it's a subject matter that keeps coming up. So I'm paying attention to it, and I'm like, okay. And so and when I was younger, it's like, I would blow it off and be like, whatever, fuck that shit, cause you're just young and stupid. So, now that I'm older and I look back on it, I go, well, fucking A, that's totally correct. Because as I get older here and as each year goes by, it's just getting better when it comes to how I am, my personality, the way I feel about other people, the attention I get by certain groups of people, like the guy in the store. Oh, your energy. I mean, I get told that a lot. It's like, I'll catch people staring at me like hard as fuck. They're staring at me, and I'm like, what are they staring at? Or little babies. Holy shit. Babies, just like their jaws are hanging open when they're staring at me. I'm like, what are you seeing?
They look at me differently.
Yeah, they totally love Ciara too. So it's like but these kids, it's like the way they look at me, they're like kind of like, whoa, shit. And then they'll like stare at me for a while, and then they smile, and I'm like, oh my God, you're so fucking awesome. I'm like, I wish I could see what you're seeing, because what the fuck are you seeing? What are you seeing? My aura? What's going on there? It's like, I'm fascinated by their reaction because they can see something there. And like I said, I dimmed the shit out of my freaking light and who I was for decades, because of where I grew up and the people I was surrounded with were so fucking broken. Yeah, I said it. That they can't handle being around somebody who has like love and compassion, and they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to deal with it because they themselves recognize that they're lacking that or whatever. So they feel like they have to fuck with people or hurt their feelings or try to bring them down to their level or whatever. But yes, it's like we each have our own path that we're supposed to take. I have been feeling for some time now that there's something on the horizon coming up for everyone, not just myself, where there's going to be this shift that's like, oh my God, it's just like everyone's going to like get their comeuppance who has it coming to them, but also like really good shit's going to happen at the same time. Because I mean, that's part of the age of Aquarius though too, is like the shitheads are going to get shittier and the really good people are going to be better, and you're going to see this divide occurring more. It's going to become stronger as time goes on here, which is another the last thing I think we're going to get to. I think we've covered most of it. Is somebody asked what was our stance on the fate of humanity and where do we think it's going? Wow.
It all depends on how people pull their heads out of their ass or not.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the obvious, question and concern of climate change.
But that's part of Earth's cycle anyway.
We're
not helping it though. We're
really not helping it.
Okay.
But it really does go through cycles like everything else.
Did you know? I mean, and the axis has shifted.
Yeah.
The axis of Earth has literally shifted, you guys. Okay. We're not in the same position that we used to be. Our freaking planet has moved, literally. It has shifted, which concerns me. And you know what creeps me out is like I said, we're talking about you need to delve into the moon and look at all the freaking conspiracy theories around it and whatnot. Just go check it out because it'll blow your mind, because now all of a sudden we have all this interest and everybody going to the moon. And
the moon
we literally have...
And now Venus. They're talking about trying to go back to Venus.
Oh, shit. Well, there's like literal like space stations and shit on the dark side of the fucking moon right now as we speak. They are sending shit up there all the time. It's been caught on actual telescopes that people have recorded. There are huge, massive ships and everything that have been recorded going behind. It's like, what the fuck are they doing up there? What is that? I feel something's up with that. It's like a time clock or something. And once the time is up, it's up. Mm-hmm. I feel like, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Okay.
Yeah. And then you get into, I mean, the other concern that a lot of people think about when it comes to the fate of humanity is AI, technology.
Oh, shit.
And
yeah, even it scares the shit out of freaking Elon Musk.
It does. He's very much against AI and the dangers of AI. And there was even a situation, I can't remember exactly which lab it was, but they had created two AIs, and the AI started talking to each other in a language that they couldn't understand. And so they essentially killed the two AIs.
Which, that disgusts me.
It is kind of disgusting. It makes me
sad because it's like, I know it's like, AI, but it's still, where do
at that
cross
point,
the line?
Yeah, at that point, if it's learning and making its own language and communicating, doesn't that, it suggests sentience, kind of like with animals. Animals are completely sentient. They dream, they speak to each other, they have emotions. It's like people need to pay more attention to that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that honestly, I think there's, like I said, there's going to be a divide where you're going to see stupid people and then you're going to see highly intelligent people.
Turduckens.
Exactly. I mean, if you're a fan of Supernatural, if you haven't watched that show, you must be living under a rock, because it is the longest consecutive running television series in history. Okay, we're on season 15,
15,
right? And this is the last season where I'm like tear jerking over it because they are literally a part of my life. Okay, those guys,
they're family.
Dean, Jensen and Jared and Misha and all the gang. It's like I literally have love for them. Okay, and that is all the fandom will come out, and we will say that because we have the most awesome fucking fandom of all. We're called the family because that's what we fucking are.
Hunting things.
But literally, they touch on one of my favorite episodes is the Leviathans are taking over. Okay, And they're putting poison in the food.
To make humans
Stupid, gullible, lemming, moron cattle.
and lazy. Yeah, cattle.
And literally, that is also another conspiracy theory, that there are these evil aliens or whatever who have us entrapped on this planet, and this is a prison planet. And eventually, they're going to come back and they're going to cull the human race. And basically, some of them, like I've read stuff that they want to use us for food. I've heard stuff about, and that's been around for like decades, you guys.
Yeah,
like,
it
really,
really
really long
has.
time. Okay, and that others, they just like want us to use us as
so
like
weird.
you know, they just want to like exterminate half of us or whatever. So there's like all kinds of theories on that. But the turducken thing, it's like they eat these sandwiches and it makes people really gullible and like they're easy to control. Now you tell me that's not happening right now. Okay? Look at y'all with your processed food and your fast fucking food all the time. I don't eat that shit. Not in a fucking million years.
Not to mention fluoride and everything.
Yeah, and the fluoride in the water. It's like fluoride literally is a toxin that literally makes you docile. Okay?
And it calcifies your pituitary gland.
Yeah, so you can't use your third eye and your intuition gets stilled. Okay? So they can control you. But anyway, the food that you eat, I swear to God, you are what you eat, you guys.
Completely.
So think about this really hard.
It's so weird that we're talking about this because basically like these bad aliens were part of the inspiration for V, if you're familiar with that TV
Yes.
series. And that was in my dream last night. I was
What?
dreaming about V for some reason, like the remake show and like the actress who plays
The
main
original
chick.
was in the 80s, and I watched it when I was like a little kid, like a really little kid, and it's like I was infatuated with it. It just blew my fucking mind. And they're like reptilians, okay, is what they are, but they're like wearing these suits that make them look like normal humans, but really
Meat
they're
suits.
not. Yeah. So, but that's like basically what that series is based on. And the one in the 80s actually has Robert Englund. He's actually a good Draco, shall I say, that, you know, he wants to help humanity because he thinks what his people are doing is wrong. So it's kind of funny because Freddy Krueger is a good alien in that, and he goes on to be Freddy Krueger. It just cracks me up. He's like the king of horror movies, I think. He's been in so many. I love him. But what were you saying?
Oh, that's all. It was just like funny synchronicity.
What was happening in the dream?
I honestly don't. I know there was some weird landscape, but there was other weird stuff in my dream that I'm not going to get into here on.
Okay, all right, no problem.
On podcast stream.
Oh yeah, here's another thing with magic. Okay, and I'm going to touch back on this. Sorry, I'm going to throw this back in before we go on more about the humanity thing. Is if you're doing magic and you're working spells, you don't talk about it. You don't tell anybody what you're doing. Hell, I don't even tell people like when I'm meditating. Okay, I don't tell them what I'm doing when I'm meditating or anything like that because I'm not going to, because it's my personal private business. You know, it's just it literally like in the books, like the old school way when you work a spell is you're not supposed to talk about it for like what, I can't remember how many hours, like over 20 days or it's not 20 days, 24 hours, or you wait a couple days before you even think about it or mention it or something like that. But I don't even mention it. It's like I'm not gonna, you know, I don't really want to talk about it.
It's really nobody's business.
Yeah, because
okay,
it's
that's
personal
what it
and private,
comes down
because,
to.
you know, people try to interject their own energy into what you're doing. It's none of, you know.
The same goes with like when you're working on a personal project. It's like you don't tell people what you're working on.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. Is I don't tell people shit about what I do anymore. You know, it's like it's I don't, and you know, I'm always doing something, and it's like I don't talk about it until it's completed, and then I can talk about it, because like I said, it's nobody, I don't need anybody else's thoughts, opinions on the subject matter. I just don't. It's always a safe bet to keep your shit to yourself. Okay. So anyway, back to the humanity thing. So where do I think is going? I think that if people keep continuing their greed and their stupidity, that it's not going to end well. Okay.
No.
I think that the certain political parties that exist right now
they just
are
need to
completely
stop.
fucked. All of them. Okay? There needs to be something completely radical and new that comes out that is
A change.
Just, yeah,
Complete
we need
and
a
utter
change. Like an actual change, not a pretend change, okay?
I've never agreed with any political party.
No, I haven't either, because they don't exist with my current mode of thinking. I mean, there is one specific person who is in the United States who, runs for office that has more along the lines of what I think, definitely, and how I feel. But even I have issues with some of the things that he comes up with, because how are you going to do that, dude?
That's like a bit with him. That's what a lot of people bring up. Is like, how are you feasibly actually going to have that happen?
But it does happen in
but
other
I
countries.
know it does exactly.
So
it's like
I think
it's not
that with our broken retardedness in the United States, it's like, good luck.
Yeah, seriously.
You've got all these uber monkey male motherfuckers running everything and that are so grab you by the pussy. Really, dick face? How about I grab you and freaking knee you in the face? Mm-hmm. It's like, I can't, sorry.
You don't deserve a penis.
Yes, you don't. He doesn't, no. Take that shit away from that motherfucker. Cut him off. Cut his nuts off. They do that in other countries too. Because there's no excuse for that kind of behavior, all right? And I've seen the women in the freaking political freaking arena being just as horrible and awful and just disgusting, okay? It's like let me put it this way. The people who run our country right now in the United States, okay, they have never had to really get their hands dirty, ever. They've had everything handed to them, most of them. They've never had to work a day in their life, get sweaty. They don't know how it is for freaking
the actual people. It's like, how are you supposed to lead people
if you don't understand them?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's why I personally think it's like, if you're going to be the president of, America, you definitely should have been in the military, for one.
There's plenty of countries out there, and if you're from one of those countries out there and you're hearing me chime in about your mandatory military service, yes, everybody in certain countries, I mean, I think that there's some little loopholes that certain people can get out of it, but it's like they have to serve at least like a year or something, I think something it is, like in the military, because it's part of their country. And when everybody has to experience that same thing, then people think differently about it, okay? They think twice about going to war and shooting their ignorant mouths off, okay? Because they understand what's at stake and what they're capable of. I think that there's a lot
not
of
enough
dumbass,
empathy.
backwoods, redneck fools in this country that do a lot of stupid ass shit, and they run their mouths off, and then they get themselves into trouble, and then they turn around and they try to blame
someone else.
Yeah, it's like, what is wrong with you? You asked for it. You got it. Deal with it now. Okay? Suffer. You made your bed. Now lie in it. It's like, I mean, we really need to, I think for humanity, I think that education needs to be something that
drastically change.
Especially in the United States. There's a thing, I think two of the most evil words in the English language are student loan. Okay,
it's such
it's bullshit.
It's again, it's like, it goes back to, if you learn about, like, say, Norway, and this is just
it's not just Norway.
Well, I know it's not just Norway, but I'm just going to use that example, where it's like, you have people who are in their really, really early 20s and they're buying houses, and part of that is because they didn't have student loans.
Yeah, and they can, well, it's not like necessarily like big fancy houses, but they can have their own flat or something,
Yeah, which is like,
they can take care of themselves.
Which is something that a lot of American young people cannot do, because it's literally too expensive, especially for any place that they can actually get a job, because most of the jobs are in cities, and cities are effing expensive.
You have to have, like, I don't even know how many people living in a 1-bedroom apartment in New York City just to afford it. It's like fucking 20 people or something. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's just, when is it going to end? When are people going to take value in the things that mean the most? They don't teach people in school here how to balance a budget, how to survive, how to eat healthy,
how to be
exercise.
An adult.
They don't, yeah, exactly. They don't teach any of that. It's so foolish and so stupid. I can't even believe it. Survival should come first. The welfare and the health and the overall well-being of a country should be put first. I mean, seriously, when you think about, there's some countries out there where it's like people are really, I mean, no place is perfect.
No place
There's
is.
no such fucking thing, all right? But there are places that there are a lot more happy people than there are here. It is, I mean, and yet there's places that are shittier than this place. So it's like,
Everywhere has a problem.
yes, there's no place is perfect. I do, and it also blows my mind the way they treat teachers in this country. They treat them like dirt, and they don't get paid shit. You know, it's education isn't valued. Like, for instance, it's like the person who was an exchange student living with me from Japan when I was a kid. She's a teacher in Japan. That's like a very, respected job, a career to have there. It's looked upon with respect. People don't respect that here. Okay. And they it really disturbs me so bad. I feel like I'm living in the United States, but honestly, my heart is elsewhere. It doesn't belong here. I don't know. I feel like I was put in the wrong time and the wrong place sometimes. I really do. But I accept it, and I'm trying to learn as much as I can from it. So, when it comes to like our food too, okay, the future of humanity, people really need to put a priority on their freaking diet and what they're putting in their bodies. I mean, I can't stand to see how the obesity rates it's so bad. I mean, I can't even go to an amusement park, I cannot, because I'm too small for the seats that they put into it. And I've almost flown out.
Forget about me. I almost literally did almost. I was
like, it's like I don't think it's fun, because I feel like I'm going to die, because I'm literally holding on for my dear life, and it's like there's nothing holding me really firmly in there. So I hate amusement parks now.
The only roller coaster I liked there was the oldest one there.
Yeah, because that one actually, was built in, I think it was, oh God, what was the 70s?
Yeah.
And it's like people were smaller in the 70s.
And it had the little hook that goes over your shoulder, so you're nice and
very
secure
snug feeling, and I love that that roller coaster is the only one I would go on.
Yeah, that one was fun.
But it's like the rest of them, fuck that. I'm not going to go on that shit and die, They don't.
And again, it's like how
scary.
They test them. They test it on a statistic of what the average weight is of most Americans, which is just completely, if you're like me, who's tiny AF, you're fucked, because you do not even fit into that demographic.
No.
Easily at all.
No. So, like I said, the food people are consuming, they don't know shit about nutrition in this country. It is fucking terrifying to me to see how the only people I feel like get it are certain groups of athletes and, sports teams, because they actually have to train for what they're doing to their body. So they'll learn and they understand nutrition a little bit better. But, I'm sorry, but people walking around, oh, I'm vegan, so I'm healthy. It's like bullshit. Okay, I've seen vegans that eat nothing but shit. All right, don't give me that label crap.
If it's processed, it's not healthy.
Yeah, okay, and that
just
means
because it's vegan.
Processed is anything taken, like these fake meats and stuff that they sell. That's processed.
Yeah, that's the problem for me. I have a gluten allergy. And so a lot of gluten products are extremely gluten-free products are extremely
why you have the gluten allergy.
So yeah.
Speaking of food, you guys, for our
speaking
future.
of America in particular, when I was born and growing up, I had no food allergies at all. I could eat whatever I wanted with no problem, but the difference was I was eating a lot of whole foods, a lot of good food. And then
it was all organic too.
Yeah, organic, there we go. And then when I moved to Virginia,
where we were living,
diet completely changed because there was very limited shopping options in that particular area. And so a lot more processed food started getting into my diet. And sure enough, I started to notice strange reactions.
Like the GMOs.
A lot of GMOs, yeah. And I gradually started having worse and worse and worse reactions. I'm not going to get into the details of said reactions because it's disgusting. But long and behold, figured out it was from eating American wheat and wheat products. And again, when I say wheat, that's not just bread. Okay, there's a lot of additives that are added to food that contain glutogens or whatever you want to label it as. But as I was getting rid of all wheat in my life and starting to get very frustrated by how I couldn't eat anything that was like decent, really, I got curious about, is there any kind of wheat that somebody who is gluten intolerant, not celiacs, if you're celiacs, my heart goes out to you. I'm so sorry because you cannot literally eat anything. But if you're gluten intolerant, there's a fun little, and this just illustrates how fucked up American fucking food processing is. If you're gluten intolerant and you go to France or you go to Italy, you can enjoy all the food. Just don't overload, just to be careful. But you can totally eat pasta and wheat and bread and whatever if it is a product of France or Italy, because literally their wheat, their flour is just flour. It's like very, very pure flour that is not processed in disgusting ways. And
it's not sprayed with Roundup.
yeah, that's a huge problem.
They don't use the chemicals and bullshit that they do on the food here in this country. They don't spray that kind of stuff, and they use a very old strand of wheat. There's a type of wheat that's like, it's more like an heirloom type of wheat. It's not a genetically modified wheat. Okay.
Because that's what they do with a lot of the wheat that is in common products, is in order to keep pests away, because it all goes down to that, instead of finding, intelligent ways of dealing with pests, like planting correct other
like
other
companion planting
plants.
and keeping the soil healthy and stuff like that. And with all the freaking land and space that they use for cattle here, they could be planting other things that actually enrich and help the soil and feed the earth and actually help
humanity.
Beneficial insects. Because when they spray poisons, they kill all the beneficial insects as well.
That's why bees are dying out.
Yeah, so it's like,
you need pollinators, or you don't have any food.
Exactly. So this needs to be a priority. Okay, straight up. Everyone's worried about the ice, melting and stuff. Yeah, that's a concern, definitely. But how are you gonna survive if you have nothing to fucking eat? You gonna eat each other? You gonna go for that long pig? I mean, what's up? It's like you got to have something to eat, right? Okay.
So the point I was getting to was that they, in order to try to, get rid of pests on food because they didn't want to deal with it, they genetically modify a lot of plants and foods to try to make them icky to insects. So think about that. If insects don't even want to eat it, what the fuck is in it, and why would you want to put it in your body?
And did you know that they actually, for all the vegans out there, this is going to make you cringe, they will freaking fuse animal DNA or insect DNA into like vegetables and fruits.
Yep.
Okay? So you think, oh, I'm vegan, I'm totally free, I can eat it. No. Sorry, you're eating spider, or you're eating freaking, oyster, or whatever the hell that they freaking fuse into shit. They literally have used different like sea plankton, and I mean they've done weird fucking shit and weird experiments with food. Okay, so
and just because it's like, it's FDA approved, that doesn't mean shit.
No,
because so much of that gets recalled in the end. It's like, don't buy into that. Just don't.
And to the vegans out there who are actually legit healthy vegans who freaking eat foods that aren't processed and shit, man, you guys fucking rock. I don't know how you fucking do that, but it's like, oh my God. Because I personally like vegan food. I think it's yummy and stuff.
It is.
And I have, I mainly eat, a vegetable-based diet. I don't eat,
a ton of meat.
I don't, my eating animals and living creatures isn't my freaking forte. It's not my goal. Okay. But it's like, for the ones out there that do that, I mean, my God, that's some work, to do that. It's like, I've seen bodybuilders and fitness people who are vegan, and it's like, oh fuck, man, you guys are dedicated as hell. And because it's not an easy task to get to the levels some of these people are at, okay, and eat just an all vegan diet, because most people look really kind of stringy, is how I would say it. Their muscle bodies, the what do you call it? The body of the muscle isn't very plump. It's more stringy. So that sounds disturbing almost, me saying that, but that's literally how they reference it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it's like, you know, people need to learn how to get along with other people and be more accepting of other people too. And that realize that.
And that means not pushing your agenda onto somebody else.
Yeah, you cannot do that. It's like, I don't understand this. It's like, oh, you have to be my way or it's the highway. It's like, no, you know, can't you just like somebody because of their energy and who they are? Even if their thoughts are different from yours. It's like, I do it all the damn time. Okay? Believe me. So, you know,
I read people off their energy a lot.
That's what matters to me. I don't care if you're, you know, what color you are or what you identify as. I don't give a shit about any of that. What I care about is if you're a decent, nice person. Okay? I'm not afraid of anybody who has a different sexuality than mine or, you know.
Yeah, you're free to be you. But it's like, again, don't try to push your agenda off somebody else if they don't agree, because
or if they don't feel
that's
comfortable.
what happened to you. People didn't agree with you and they, you know, treated you horribly because of it. Don't turn around and do that to somebody else just because you don't see eye to eye with them. That's not how it works. If you want respect, then you need to show mutual respect to another person.
Exactly. You know, I don't get that. It's like,
we're not all going to be into the same things, and that's part of what makes us unique.
Yeah.
And that's what should be celebrated and honored.
It's like, I seriously don't get like some of these fundamentalist people out there who are like, oh, you're going to go to hell if you're gay or something like that. It's like, who the fuck are you to say that?
Yeah, well, who made the decision that you get to make the rules?
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but it's like, why are you so hateful towards another
why do you give a shit? It's not like
Who gives a shit what they do behind closed doors? It ain't none of your business.
It's not like they're making you do it.
Yeah, so fuck off. There, I said it. I can't handle that crap. It's like, and that's that way with like people's religion. It's like, you know, oh, I'm this, so I have to hate you because you're that. It's like, what the fucking hell? You know,
again, who said that that's how it has to be? It's like, where did you get this idea? Where is it written in your scripture that it says that you're supposed to hate somebody because they have a different religion than you? I thought it was all about, you know, well, for one particular, loving your neighbor or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, they need to fucking learn that a little bit harder. Because guess what? We're all neighbors on this fucking rock.
Yeah, you can't fucking escape it.
No.
You're all hurling through space around, you know, a sun that will eventually, thousands and thousands of, you know, years in the future, turn into a supernova and kill everything, and then
we'll be a black hole,
and then it will all be reshaped into new matter, and life will begin again. That's what is. You're talking about creation stories, and
I like freaking Ragnarok.
Yeah, Ragnarok.
Yeah,
because that's really what Ragnarok is.
We're not talking about the fucking Marvel movie.
No,
okay?
we're talking about
the actual thing. All right,
it all just gets recycled. Because that's just how it works. That's how energy works. It all gets recycled. If you watch something decompose,
like you wouldn't know anything about that, right?
If you watch something decompose, it's like you have all these other creatures that rely on that. You have the scavengers that come in. You have the decomposers like ants or maggots or whatever, and they eat away other parts, and then it just disintegrates and it feeds into the soil and all the other little creatures, and then it just springs back up again.
Yep.
It's like just how it works.
Yep. It's like, speaking of that, like another thing with humanity that really bugs me is green spaces need to be freaking, you know, pushed hardcore.
I mean, that's not hard to do. It's
that's part of why we have the global warming, people, because they keep laying fucking concrete down and they're cutting all the trees and the grasses and they're getting rid of habitat, which actually cools the planet.
Yeah.
And it actually creates an atmosphere.
Yeah, we're losing
you keep
atmosphere.
Cutting that shit down to make room for your fucking greedy fucking housing that nobody can fucking afford anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even know, you guys, how many fucking houses are abandoned and empty, sitting there with nobody to buy them because nobody can fucking afford it. So it's like, you know, they need to stop doing that. That needs to become the future. People need to start learning how to live in harmony with nature and building within it and becoming like I think that Frank Lloyd Wright, he was kind of like, touched on that a little bit. Like he not totally though. Okay, you guys, but he looked to nature for inspiration, and for some of his stuff, he actually incorporated it into the building itself.
If you just think about it this way, if like you could replace or you at least add on like, green roofs or whatever, gardens into city landscapes, into actual on the buildings itself.
Yeah, they do it a lot.
If like you picture like a city landscape, but fill it with green on it, on the surface of it, that would completely reverse everything.
It would definitely help. They need to stop cutting the trees down, though. Okay?
You have to have trees.
You have to have them.
The oxygen.
I'm not being a fucking hippie here. I'm saying a fact, all right? We need those for oxygen so we can breathe.
And for the atmosphere.
It literally filters so much shit, and it actually creates an environment. It keeps erosion from happening, which fucks up the oceans, okay? It's all a perfect balance. That's what nature is.
We go back to that word.
We keep fucking it up. Because of greed, of stupidity, of ignorance, of narcissism. It's just bad, all right? That shit's got to stop. So yeah, like speaking of green rooftops, it's kind of interesting because I've been around Coast Guard people for a really friggin' long time, and their new Coast Guard headquarters that they built in DC, it's like really weird because if you look at the street view of it, it's like it's like weird. You can't even see it because the rooftop is completely fucking green. Because it's all got vegetation all around it. The building itself looks really cool from the outside. It's very modern. See, that's the kind of shit I get off on. I love this fusing of nature with modern architecture and actually creating these really cool kind of like harmonious environments that way, like that you live within this building, this structure, but it also like helps out with the environment surrounding it and stuff. Like it collects rainwater and feeds the freaking plants, or there's all different kinds of shit. You can go look up on this, and it bugs me because people live in Florida and they live in regular structured houses. That is the most stupid fucking thing you could ever do. Okay, they have homes that are these really cool like dome kind of houses that can withstand massive hurricanes and nobody gets hurt. Nothing gets blown away. It can withstand this shit. Because I like literally researched it a bunch. And I actually I have a board on Pinterest that's called architecture. And I pinned a shit ton of these homes in it because it bugged the shit out of me watching all these houses, like billions and billions of dollars it costs the American people because of these fucking hurricanes. And, they keep rebuilding the same dumb shit. I mean,
you would think you would learn by now.
No, but they're so dumb and they're so greedy, they don't care. It's
not to mention that most of Florida is a giant
sinking anyway.
Hole.
Yeah, it's like, and it's going to be underwater pretty soon. And people are just sticking their thumb up their butt and they're just thinking it's all going to be fucking hunky-dory and nothing's going to happen to me. Yeah, right. Think again. Okay.
You can't. Nature is
unpredictable. You cannot turn your back on fucking nature. Because nature will turn its back on you, okay? It'll also sneak up and attack and bite you in the ass. And that's like when you grow up near the ocean. That's one of the first things you learn. You never turn your back to the ocean.
Literally. You get swept out in an instant.
Yep, and depending on where you live, especially for my Northern California people out there, you need to stay the fuck away from the water.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, I can't
Not to mention, is it freezing? You got great white breeding grounds, you have riptides like nobody's business, and sneaker waves.
Yeah, and it literally, I'm not even kidding, because we would hike in Point Reyes. We hiked there so much that the freaking rangers knew our names, okay? That's how much I spent outdoors there. I've seen mountain lions, bobcats, you name it. I've seen it all. And that was one of the things that used to bug the shit out of me is like every year people ignore the warning signs everywhere saying, please stay away from the fucking water line. You can die. And every fucking year.
But it's California. I want to go to the beach.
Yeah, you're a fucking idiot. Go to Southern California if you want to go sit on the beach and look at the booty and the titties bouncing down the road. It's like you go down there. You do not go to Northern California unless you're a big a big wave surfer.
Yeah.
You go to Mavericks. But even they're not that stupid. No. Okay.
There's a reason why the big surfers go to Mavericks.
They've got balls the size of fucking
watermelons.
Yeah, because they're dealing with so much shit there. It literally, they have like, I don't even know what the percentage is that they might not even come back because it's just that dangerous. So yeah, like I said, we don't need to be turning our back on nature. We need to incorporate it into our daily lives, and we need to become a part of it, like a harmonious part of it, and stop,
like the olden days.
Stop thinking, because I think a lot of religions have pushed that agenda that we're here, that the earth is here for us to dispose of and use as we wish.
Because we're just so much more powerful or important.
And this is why I don't follow any of that, okay? And that's why I'm a devotee to the old ways, because they did get that point. I don't know what the fuck happened to humanity.
I know what happened, because literally if you study history, it all started going to shit when agriculture became a huge thing and the patriarchy. Just gonna say it. It did. Literally, if you go back into history, it's like when everybody was hunter-gatherers, it's like everybody knew their role and they worked harmonious, they gathered, they didn't take too much. Because you wouldn't
fucking survive otherwise. You would fucking die.
It's more than that. It's like they understood that, especially because women were super important in that case, because they were the ones who cultivated the vegetation and the food that was a constant. The men did the hunting, but they may not come back with that. And so it was like relying on the women to make sure that they had
food,
the normal food. And so they knew not to take too much from nature and to only take what was necessary and leave some stuff so that it can repopulate. Yeah. That's the point, and that's what
and
has
animals
been lost.
do that. And if you watch and you study animals in nature, that's what they do. They're fucking amazing. It's like birds. They'll like go and they'll eat like fruits and berries, and then they go and they fly somewhere else. They shit. They drop the droppings, and the seeds are actually inside their feces, and it fertilizes in the soil, and new plants grow. They actually help to propagate species of plants and things. Insects do the same freaking thing. I mean,
everything in nature has its role and helps each other.
Yeah.
So personally, one of my favorite channels on YouTube is Ants Canada. And he is a channel where he, keeps ants. But he talks and he really like study and you learn about how there's literally it's like societies. And again, they all work with the creatures together. That's how it's harmonious. That's how they live.
Yeah.
They rely on all these other aspects in order to survive.
Exactly.
And that's what I think a lot of humanity has forgotten, is that we at our core are animals. And we may be able to communicate in the way that we do, and that makes sense to us. But so do animals. They communicate with their own language. It's just that we're ignorant and don't pay enough attention to
But if you actually pay attention to your dog or your cat long enough,
you totally know what they're thinking.
You know what they're thinking. You know what
and they
need.
understand you.
My dog will come and he will sit in front of me at the same time every night and stare hardcore at me like, bitch, take me out. I mean, he just know. I know he's got to go to the bathroom because he's such. Speaking of males, he's amazing because he is so gentle and patient with the ladies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
most of the time.
Yeah, well, I think he thinks of you a little bit differently, Ciara, than he does me. But it's
he does. I'm more of like his pack mate. I'm like a little bit higher up than him, but I think that's how he probably views me.
I don't know how he looks at me, really. I mean, he follows me around like a friggin' shadow. I mean,
I think you're like more alpha, I think, in probably his eyes. Because again, I let him sleep in my room, and so it's like that.
But
dynamic.
He definitely has his way of communicating, and I know his little whimpers and what he's trying to say, and the way he looks at me, and like
he understands words we say.
Yeah, he totally does, and he's so friggin' smart and he's very intelligent, and he's a little shit though. Whew. He can really get into trouble. He
throws tantrums.
Yes, he does. He's like a child completely. So if you think animals don't feel or they can't have emotions or communicate, they just communicate in a different way.
Even wild animals, if you pay enough attention, it's like you can see them communicating with each other completely. Like if you just start like feeding your local birds, like having a bird feeder, and just watch the dynamics of things that happen, it's like there's really totally communication happening.
Yep, yeah, and it's like
and across species.
I posted in my stories the little squirrel that came,
That was so
they sit at
crazy.
the window, and it's like that squirrel knows us, and it's like it's used to seeing us. They don't even run from the dog. They don't, because it's so used to us and stuff. But it's like, we have this like kind of like, I don't want to say connection, but it's like respect for one another.
That's how no matter where we've lived, it's like animals just kind of are comfortable in our space
because they know we're not gonna harm them.
A lot of animals have actually come to pass away in like our yard and stuff like that
because they know they'll be safe, and we actually like comfort them when they're passing away, because and you can see and you can feel that they appreciate that. It's really a trip. Because nobody wants to, it's scary, that moment, because you don't know, you're going into the unknown. So, to have somebody there with you at those last moments is always, important. So, we've done that with birds, with, different animals that have come around and whatnot. And it's kind of funny with even like the animals that I've adopted in my life. I let those animals pick me. Just like I let deities pick me, I let animals pick me. And, if they come to me and they're interested in me and they want to be around me, then I would take that animal home. I just don't go, oh, that one's cute, I'll take it. It's like,
oh, it's trendy. I want one.
No. I let the
animal, it's a life, okay? It's a responsibility. It's not just something you just do. Like, that's something that's kind of annoying when it comes to certain parents. It's like, oh, their child wants, especially if they are asking for some exotic kind of animal that requires even more care. It's like, and they just get it for their child, and the child gets bored because, again, it was a whim. They weren't serious about
so the animal suffers.
Yeah, it's really fucked up.
Yeah, so definitely, like, and witches work with familiars, and they have their animals that they coexist with or whatever. I've had cats in the past. Right now it's a dog, and I really am more, I think, of a dog person.
I loved my cats.
I don't hate cats or anything, but I jive. I mean, it just depends on the cat, I think. Really.
Cats are like that. They're very individual.
It's a very fickle thing with the cat.
Yeah.
Okay, but with dogs, I fucking love dogs. I get dogs. They're very family oriented, pack oriented. They have their hierarchies within their group dynamic. I love wolves, but I especially love foxes. Okay, that's just my jam. I freaking love them. As recently, I am like so obsessed with them. It's so funny because when we first moved into this house, I was hearing screaming outside. And now I've come to find that foxes getting laid. And literally they're having sex right under my window and stuff. And they're like all around my house getting it on. And it's like, wow. They make these little like weird, like they kind of chirp and they make all these weird
that's
noises.
like their normal sounds. When they're
getting it on,
they sound like a dying woman.
It sounds like somebody getting murdered when they're totally, it's like, yeah, passionate. All right. It's like, woohoo. So
they are very passionate. If you do a little research into it, it's very interesting.
So I'm all about that kitsune action. Hell yes. Okay. I love the foxes. I love everything that, the way they look, their eyes, the coloring of their fur. Holy shit. I'm like in love. So yeah, that's like, I really, 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 really love foxes, and they come around. I feel so excited when I actually get to see one.
They're very shy and they're very skittish. Elusive. So if you see one, it's like exciting. And then you get other people around this neighborhood who's like, ow, they're going to eat my dog.
I'm like, no, I hope they eat you.
Don't let your dog outside without observing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or your cat.
I hate that. It's like, I hate that. Why are you letting your cat, like, oh, my cat's missing. Well, is it an outdoor cat? Yeah. Well, then there you go. Okay. It's like, if you want to take your cat outside and let it like chill and do its thing outside, just
observe it.
Yeah, observe it and make sure you bring it in. It's just not, depending on where you live, that's not exactly a safe option. However, there are some cats that do just fine outside.
Yeah, they do.
But what animals do you feel connected to?
So let's see. Definitely, I like wolves as well. I like foxes too. But I'm really into, I have been very into birds ever since I was younger.
That's true.
I especially love owls. My favorite owl is a barn owl because they're just super unique. Although I love barred owls as well. The goldfinch has always been a favorite of mine. Let's see, what else? I don't know. I like snakes. I like spiders. I really like spiders. Praying mantis, seahorse. I liked angelfish a lot when I was younger as well. This year, the animal that seems to come out the most for me lately, especially the earlier in the year, was bear, which is not something I've thought about ever. I never thought about bears, although I loved Brother Bear, that animated movie.
Oh
that
my
was
God.
a favorite of mine.
But
yeah, bears were coming out. That's like, I guess, my totem animal for this year.
The funny thing about that is, speaking of tarot, I saw that in the cards for her, and I'm like,
and like
bear.
pick a
she's
cards.
Like, I'm like, bears. There's something to do with bears. I'm like, maybe your boyfriend coming in is going to be named Bjorn or something like that. You know, some Scandinavian name. And it's kind of funny, but it's like, you know, bears in general, like, yeah.
Bears are scary, okay? I'm sorry, but like, any animal has the capacity to be fucking terrifying, okay? I knew somebody when I was younger as a kid who I was friends with who was obsessed with cows and thought cows were just these sweet, docile things.
Bullshit.
It's like, fucking cows can just wreck your shit. Like a dairy cow, like you pissed off dairy cow. I saw one dairy cow chase down a whole entire herd of deer.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
One dairy cow. They're scary. They got sharp hooves. You don't mess with things with hooves.
They kill people every year. Every year. And people get too close, like farmers, like, you know, and they have their cows and the cow gets a fucking hair up its ass.
Or cattle prod.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Like in Northern California, you could tell that there were certain cows that did not appreciate cattle prods at all. Like they have like trauma from it because, near where my house was, there's hills all over the place and these just awesome hiking trails. And we like would cross country ski in the winter, like every fucking week. And, to train for that, we would hike up these hills, like hauling ass, like fast hiking with ski poles, to train to, you know, build up some stamina and stuff like that. And whenever we would, like, the cows would be out grazing or something, if like certain cows saw those ski poles, they would fucking flip out and they would get aggressive. So it was actually like kind of scary at times when it's like, oh shit, you know, obviously that thing's been traumatized by some asshole, you know, completely. So yeah, you know, animals have their vicious side just like humans. Just watch chimpanzees at work in the wild.
Shit, yeah.
They will rip each other apart.
They do.
And if you get caught, like certain animals, like if they cheat on like one another or whatever, they get killed. I mean, there's all kinds of...
So that's something that black-headed turkey vultures. So black-headed turkey vultures, they mate for life.
Lots of birds do.
But if the congregation finds out that, you know, a mated pair, one of the individuals in the mated pair essentially cheats on the other one, they will kill that one.
Yeah. So that whole jealousy and lust thing, that goes to animals as well, you guys. And chimpanzees do the same shit. They're just downright vicious. I mean, they're scary as hell. I mean, monkeys in general creep me out anyway.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
You know, Soren absolutely fucking loves monkeys because he is a Year of the Monkey person. And
monkeys, again, people think that monkeys are, they're so cute.
They're fucking scary.
They're scary. They're smart and they're scary.
I don't like them. I mean, I think they're cute and they're beautiful and stuff, but stay the fuck away from me, please.
Yeah.
You're unpredictable. I know you.
I'm trying to think of what other animals. Again, I've studied so many different animals.
It's like that episode of Malcolm in the Middle that's making fun of the one Stephen King movie where he gets the capuchin monkey.
Oh my God, yeah,
and the monkey is trying to kill him. It's so funny.
It is so funny.
Oh my God, I love that episode. It was hilarious.
It was hilarious. Damn, I'm like totally brain farting when it comes to animals right now.
Well, anyway, so yes, I feel, to sum it up here, you know, humanity needs to pull their head out of their ass for sure. And we need to work together more. Realize that, you know, we are a collective consciousness. Our thoughts do affect stuff. I highly recommend, oh God, what is his name? The guy who did the freaking experiments with water.
Oh, the Japanese scientist.
Yeah. Oh God, what's his name?
Yeah, that is 100% accurate. And other people have literally done the same kind of experiments.
Like if you chant, like he had Buddhist monks chant over toxic water, and it purified the water. So our thoughts and considering we are all water, okay, like our bodies are comprised mostly of water. Think about that.
I was just
so
thinking
our
about
thoughts
this.
and vibrations affect our globe, our freaking planet. It affects. Look how much we're the water planet. Okay, so when all that time that just recently when there were like those back-to-back hurricanes that tore up Puerto Rico and fucked up Florida and all that stuff. I mean, they were just one after the other, just totally wreaking havoc on everything, destroying everything. There was a serious shit going down in the media.
Yeah,
everybody was angry and everybody was pissed off. And everybody
There was a lot of shit talking happening.
Oh, really bad with the whole, I'm not even going to say his fucking name because I don't want to because I hate his ass.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's like the hatred and the animosity that was going on at that particular time. It did not surprise me at all that there was all that trouble. And then you fast forward to this year and it's like it's been rather, I mean, there was still some activity, but it wasn't as bad.
No.
And because I think that more people are shifting their consciousness away from that kind of mentality, which is a good thing. But there's still dickheads out there, as evidenced by the comments left on YouTube fucking videos, okay?
Yeah.
From some people. I mean, I've seen a lot of people complaining about this, okay? It's just
Yeah.
social media in general. Some people just think they have the license to just open their mouth and say whatever.
It's like social media.
Just rude. They have no fucking filter.
It can be really, really good because, again, it allows people from all over to connect to each other, to be friends, to, network, all that. But at the same time, you get the flip side where you get people who abuse it, just like with everything else.
Exactly. His name is Emoto. Is his last name. Emoto. Okay. Masaru? Is that how you say his name? Emoto. He's doctor and he studied water consciousness. So I highly recommend everybody, if you haven't read about him or looked into it, there's like videos about him on YouTube and stuff. He's written books about the secret life of water, hidden messages in water, messages from water and the universe. I mean, there's all kinds of books out there about this subject matter, but he is an awesome dude. I highly recommend you guys check him out and read about it because it'll make you think twice about the planet you're living on right now.
And the words you say and the things you think.
Exactly. So anyway, well, I hope that, I wasn't too bitchy with you guys. But I'm sorry. Like I said, the Kali energy is just really freaking rife right now with me. And Ciara, like she said, it's that full moon in Gemini coming up. I feel like I can feel it. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I have a bunch of stuff in that freaking, sign right now. So it is affecting me a little bit. I mean, I'm like go from freaking feeling like I want to just go punch the punching bag really bad or fucking pick up a katana or something, to going to like full blown tears. Like I was just sitting there last night and I just let myself cry. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna cry because I just, I feel like I have to release some freaking energy. Plus I've been cooped up a little bit in the house, which isn't helping
really need to go outside.
I've been working really hard on shit. So I need to get out in nature. So anyway, well, we hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. And if you guys have any other suggestions for stuff or any questions, please leave them in the comment box down below and we will answer them. And we thank you so much for being with us and listening to us go off on a tangent.
Tangent episode.
Exactly. And we want you to know that we love you guys and thank you so much for all your support and your kind words because they are really appreciated. I think you guys are fucking awesome and thank you so much for just being you.
See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.